friends, and welcome to my channel, Main's Mind. So before we do anything else, please like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you can get notifications when I post new content. All right, so for today, I'm going to go with one of the stories that are not on the top charts. So what I scanned through and I read a few of them, and the one that so far, as of today, that I like and has caught my attention is one that's called A World of Death and Beauty by Tiffany Burkett. And I hope I'm saying that correctly. I like it. Right now she's got 17 episodes out and it's got about 18 likes. And I just read the first 3 episodes. And so far it's already caught my attention. It's an interesting little story. It starts off with the main character, Tex Sonoma, and she's riding on some like motorcycle called Jericho. That's what she calls it. She's from a place called Lapis Lazuli Junction, which she calls the poor sector, and she's going to a place called Marta's Diner. Now she talks about how Marta's one of the few people remaining from the that predated the war. She goes to this diner and she's wanting food other than turnips. Apparently turnips are something that grow in this wasteland, and so they are always eating turnips or wall rats, which just kind of sounds wall rat pasta. Anyways, she's in this place and some strange guy comes in wearing a lab coat, and I get this very like one of the tags on this story is steampunk, and I just realized that when she was giving the description of this man, and I'm like, man, this sounds like one of those steampunk characters, features. And so I turned around and I looked up the tags and it says steampunk, so she didn't disappoint there. And then some of the other tags are dystopian, wasteland, motorcycle, adventure, cyberpunk, and fantasy. So anyways, so as of right now, I'm not disappointed with the steampunk descriptions. So anyways, this man comes into the bar and this diner, and something happens that she ends up like blacking out, and he's got, she ends up like blacking out, and when she wakes up, she's got this contraption on her arm that's like blue glistening coils is what she calls them, and she wakes up completely alone. There's like nobody else there. All of the people in her town have disappeared, and she just finds this one note that says, "Come find me." And so she's kind of lost. She doesn't really know what to do, but finally she comes to the conclusion that she needs to go look in one of the bigger cities to try to start hunting down clues. So she goes to this bigger city called the Emerald City, and she describes it as dull green with cacti and succulents. And so I just kind of picture like this wasted down city kind of that's got these that's overrun by cactus and succulents, and it's like in the middle of a desert, and it just kind of like, it says a dull green, so I kind of picture like this kind of like a puke green that kind of blends in with the surroundings. I don't know, this is kind of the image I get from it. She goes to a marketplace. She says that this city is a very diverse place, so it seems to have like a marketplace and be more alive than the city that she came from. And then she goes into this bar looking for information, and it's kind of funny because she goes and this bartender just basically reads her like a book, and she's a little uncomfortable by it because he's like, you did this and this and this and you're this. Nope, that's not why you do it. You do this. And I don't want to ruin it for you, but it's a pretty interesting little scene because she's just kind of like, whoa. So anyways, after she leaves this bar, she's kind of walking around trying to find where she should go next, and she gets robbed by this little thief. He like runs into her and slams into her and knocks her down, and then keeps running, and she's like, wait, I know what he did. And she's like searching her belt pants, and she realizes he took her money, so she takes off running after him. Well, this kid knows the city, so he's running down the streets and going down forks, and she's like, you know what? I'll just get on the roof. So she climbs up some things and ends up on the roof, and she's tracking him from the roof and ends up jumping on him and getting her money back. But then she ends up in what she calls a red alley. She was considering, before she got robbed, of fighting in a red alley so that she could get information, because if you win a fight in a red alley, you get it like a wish, like they'll answer one of your questions or give you something that you want. But she was like, ooh, but I'm not a brawler, and I don't know. I mean, they're called a red alley for a reason, and it's not because they're painted red. It leaves you to assume that they are called a red alley because they're painted in blood. Anyways, so this happens, and then all of a sudden these men come, and she's like, oh guys, yeah, sorry, accident. I was trying to get a boomerang, a boomerang with flowers for my room, and she's trying to like play this innocent little girl card, but they are not buying it, and so they take off after her. And one guy with this robotic arm comes up ready to bash her head in. And she's like, oh my God, and she's throwing her arm up trying to defend herself from this guy, but the hit never comes. And it turns out that this guy has a robotic arm that goes all into his, shoulder and everything else, but it's made of the same stuff that she has. And he's like, where did you get that? And she's like, I don't know. I was looking for this guy in a white coat. And so he grabs her and takes her up to his apartment, and he undoes it, so his shirt, so she could see it. And she's like, you're like me. And he's like, you really don't know? And she's like, no, what? She's like, I just woke up like this. And he's like, okay. And so they kind of like came to this like camaraderie really quickly. And it was just kind of like, he ends up introducing himself. I'm Jace of Red River, first commander of Lupin. This story was interesting. It had a good little tell to it. She gave some pretty good descriptions in there that definitely helped with the flow of the story. Yeah, so if you haven't checked it out, this is one that hasn't gotten a lot of love on Kindle Vella as of yet. It's caught my interest. So I'm definitely going to, I'm following it now so that I can see what's going to be going on. Like I said, it's got 17 episodes, so I've got a good weekend of reading for me. All right, my friends, that's all I have for today in terms of my Kindle Vella recommendations. While you are out there checking them out, please don't forget to check out my stories, Alpha Rising Moon and Dragon Guard, and please don't forget to comment and make recommendations below, as well as like and subscribe and ring the bell for notifications when I post new content. See you next time.